And today we are going to get into another class by the one and only Atomic Sounds featuring Ma9net. I'm Nina Crease, your moderator. Let's get into it.
What's up, everyone? How's it going, Ma9net?
I'm good, fam. How we doing?
Hey, yeah, how you guys doing today?
Yeah, doing really good, thank you.
Awesome. Ooh, what are we listening to? Oh, let me pull your chair in. Here you go. Sorry, bring you closer. So, what are we listening to today?
I was just messing around with a pad that I made in Serum.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Serum.
Yeah,
floating away.
it's an ambient pad. Let me
We-
just put a compressor on this so when I talk it goes down. So yeah, it's basically quite a complex pad that I made. This should show up on the screen hopefully. So it's got a lot of automation and modulation. So when I play, the waveforms and everything like that shift really slowly with LFO. If I use F to touch on my controller, the waveforms move. And it gives it that little bit of texture underneath. So yeah, that's what I was playing in the background when we started the stream.
Dreamy.
Which is quite nice, quite soothing.
Put a kick on it.
Exciting as well.
You see, we all heard different beats to it. You see, I think we're gonna have to have a production session next. Oh.
We should do a whole track with just using our voices. Nothing else but our voices.
Like that?
Yeah, like that. We'll do little beatboxing, make instruments with our voices, which I'll do today actually, because there is a question I think DJ Ma9net is dying to ask, so we can get into that now if you want, Ma9net.
Yeah, alright, let's give it a go. Let's do it.
Cool. So the question was that how do we get a sample and then map it across the keyboard so we can play it?
How do we what?
So
Can you
it
stop the
is-
music? Or lower it when you ask a question, please? Just because the music
Yep,
is a little
sorry,
over.
yep.
It's overpowering.
There we go. I didn't realise it was that loud. I do apologise.
That's okay. We was turned out. We was enjoying it.
Right, so yeah, the question. What was the? Do you want to ask the question, Ma9net?
Yeah, sure. The question is, how do I change the pitch of something that I've recorded?
What? So you can play it over the keyboard.
That was my follow-up question. Yeah, exactly. Can I map that to a MIDI controller?
Right. Okay. So we can go into a pitch session. So I am actually going to record myself on the mic. I think I'm on 4. Yeah. So here we go.
What up, Tay?
And I'll go through pitching a sample first. So let's record this. There we go. Let's go back to the beginning. We'll get rid of this for now. We don't need that.
Oh.
Go into 4 and we'll record. So, hello, I am Atomic. You are now in a live masterclass with Nina Crease and Ma9net. Okay, that wasn't the greatest, but it's just for demonstration purposes.
What you mean? That was beautiful. That was perfect.
Oh, thank you. Thank
That was
you. So what I'm going to
perfect.
do We'll play this back. This is going to be so cringeworthy. I'm not going to like it, but we'll play it back. Hello, I am Atomic. You are now in a live masterclass with Nina Crease and
Ooh.
Ma9net.
Now show everybody what did you just press to add volume to that really quickly. You did it
Right,
real
okay, yeah,
quick.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, once you recorded something, if you double click on the clip, it brings you the audio editor down the bottom. It's very similar to the MIDI editor, but we haven't got the notes because it's not MIDI. It just shows you the audio waveform. And all I done was literally go to the gain and then just raise the gain up. So we can change the gain here and we can get it set to a nice level that we want. So now that will basically save on that clip, only that clip, not the channel, just this clip. So now we've got a reasonable level. Hello, I am Atomic. You are now in a live masterclass with Nina Crease and Ma9net. So now to pitch this, as Ma9net wants to know, we'll stay in this screen, and then below the gain level, we've got this little dial here which says ST, which stands for semitones. So we click that, we can now use the arrow keys on our keyboard, or we can click and drag it. So we can start pitching it. So if I loop this and let it play. Hello, I am Atomic.
You are now in a live masterclass with Nina Crease and Ma9net.
Hello, I am Atomic. You are now in a live masterclass with
There
Nina
you go.
Crease
And that's
and
basically pitching the
Ma9net.
sound.
Hello, I am Atomic. You are
Let me
now
just
in
do
a
something to
live
this to make it sound a bit
masterclass
nicer.
with Nina Crease and Ma9net. Hello, I am Atomic. You are now in a live masterclass with Nina Crease
There we go. That's a
and
bit better.
Ma9net.
So yeah, that is how you pitch a
Hello, I am
sample.
Atomic.
Now,
It's
You are
literally,
now
you just
in
jump
a
into the
live
clip,
masterclass
and underneath the
with Nina
gain, we've got the
Crease
pitch
and
shift.
Ma9net.
so
Hello, I am Atomic.
Live
there you
masterclass
need to
with
be
Nina.
aware of and pitching semitones.
Yes, there is something you need to be aware of. One, the higher and the lower you go. So the lower you go, it slows down the sample. The higher you go, it speeds up. So if I was to speed this right up, like, or pitch it right up to 29, it'll go quicker. If I slow it down,
And will that change the key of the sample that's being played?
yes, 100%. So that's essentially what you're doing. So you're changing the note of the sample. So it won't necessarily, it's not necessarily the key, because you can change it to another note in a key of your choice, but it will change a note and it might not fit into other keys. So you have to tune it, and you can do that, which is really easy, is in the utilities. So I've got it as a shortcut in my utilities, but I'll go through here. So we go to audio effects, click on utilities and drop down and double click on tuner. And that gives us a tuner. So that'll give us, hopefully it'll work on my voice. It'll give you a tuner and it'll let you know what note you're using. At the moment, because it's a voice and it's up and down, because it's
Oh,
not.
with the tuner. Wait a minute. So maybe this
Yes.
is how we can change our music to 30 to 432. Can we change it?
Yeah, so you can do that, yep, 100%. So the tuner
Awesome.
won't do it, but we can change that. So 442, all we have to do is we can go to the reference
Mm-hmm.
and put in 442 and then tune it to 442. And that's how I've got some stuff in the pipeline for you, Nina, for your meditation streams. So
Hey,
that's
thank
how I've
you.
done it. So I tune all my oscillators on my synths to 442, and we can even do that on VST. So it's not limited to just on analog gear or external gear. We can actually detune VSTs, and I can quickly demonstrate that now. So if I go into Serum and let me just put in a initialize patch. So we go to menu, go to initialize the patch. So we just got a normal patch. If I put a tuner on this now, so if I hold the A key down, then it is going to come up A. So because it's a VST, it's going to be pretty much spot on all the time. Oh, let me just do this. There we go. Go back to that because all you saw was Ableton. So, let's say the E key. So if I hold the E key, it comes up with E, and we know that. And because I'm in the E minor scale, I can play the E minor scale. So what's the E minor scale? So you'll see it does all the notes. Okay, so we go into Serum again now and open Serum up. We can now detune it we can do it by semitones or fine tuning. So if I change this now to 442 hertz, and now I push E again, and you can see it's slightly under pitch. So the whole scale will be under pitch, but we can tune that up by using a fine tune.
To drop the volume with that serum just a tiny bit, bro.
Oh, is it a tiny bit? Oh yeah, sorry. There we go.
Aggressive.
So we can use fine tune now. Well, that's too much. So we need to go up just by a couple. And now we've tuned it, so we're not in a regular scale now. We're tuned to 442 or thereabouts. But I'm holding the mic in one hand and trying to demonstrate with another hand. So yeah, so that's how we can do that in VST. So we can use the fine tune to tune it to whatever frequencies we want.
Nice. Okay.
And that's how we get to do the 440, the 442 tuning. So if I put that back to that. So that's how you do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Second
does that make
part.
sense with the tuning part?
Yes.
The actual pitch shifting. Yep, cool.
Yeah.
Second part was, can you map it to a MIDI controller?
Yes, 100%. So what I'll do is I will delete this one and I'm going to sing for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Make
Just
your
cover
money.
your ears, everyone. Cover your ears, everyone. I'm never going to live this down, to be fair. So here we go. I sound exactly like Britney Spears, by the way, just to pre-warn you. Ooh. So we got this sample which I just sung.
Absolutely
Let's play it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
It's lovely, isn't it? Lovely.
Oh, bro, you were
Right,
pretty
so
close.
I think you're gonna
was
replace
it?
Soldier Boy with the you.
You. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the gain up a bit on that, just so we can hear it a bit better.
Ooh, that's gonna be the castle call. Cuckoo,
Right, so we've got that. So that is our sample now. So what I'm going to do is tune that first. When we're doing this, it's always good to try and tune it to like C, because what we're going to do next, it'll explain. It will. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, okay. I thought my mic dropped out then. So basically, yeah, it'll all become apparent in the next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune this to C. So what I'm going to do is, the best thing to do first, let's do it this way, it'll be easier. So all we have to do now is grab this thing we've recorded, the audio clip, and then put it into a MIDI clip. So just, hang on a second, sorry about this.
Okay.
First of all, we need to click on the MIDI track we want to put it on, and then make sure we got the track open like this, and then all we do is grab that audio file and drag it onto there, and then we'll put it in a sampler, which is simpler.
There
So
we
that's
go.
that's one. Now if I played this on a keyboard,
Oh, there we go. So the thing is to make sure it's the MIDI track is selected.
yes, always
First
select the MIDI track
is what you're
first,
saying.
and then
Drag it to
drag.
the effects bar, not
That's
the,
why.
Yes.
Okay, it makes sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense. So it's like trigger.
So-
It's like okay.
So now we want to tune it. So if we're playing on a regular keyboard, we want to tune it to the C key, because once we've tuned it to C, then it'll map out over every single key correctly.
Oh.
So I'll show you how I do that. Right, so that's a C. Let's get a tuner again. It all relies on this tuner. This tuner's open in most of my projects because It's just awesome. So if I hold the C key, it's actually playing B. So I need to tune that up one semitone. So what we do to tune it up, we go into controls, and then down here we got detune, octave, or transpose semitone. So we want the top one. I'm just going to put it up one. And now when I hold that down, we're getting close. So now we can really fine tune this. So where is the fine tune? Oh. Right, what I'm going to actually do, because this is put it into a sampler, not a simpler. So I'm going to just fine tune it on this to drop it to C. So we can do it either way. You can either do it in this plugin, the one that I showed you like this, or we can go to the actual sample itself and do it like we've done it before. So
Right.
I just need to just detune this just slightly, just ever so slightly. So I use that one, maybe drop it down by 3, and now we'll go back into this one. And then when I push the C key, that's close enough. My voice is wavering in and out. If you're using a sample
You
that's
need
from an
auto-tune.
instrument, then yeah. So, but now it is play out the C major scale. So yeah, now we've got my voice as an instrument. So that's how you would do go about doing that.
Wow. That
Does
is
that
so
make
cool.
sense?
Yeah, man. Thank you.
That is so
And then
awesome.
to make it even more fun, we can actually put it up to an 8 voices, and we can add a loop to it. So we click loop, it brings a blue box, and then we can use these lengths here and the loop length, and then we'll fade it out a bit so it looks like this. And now we hold it. But let's just bring that in a bit tighter and put some more fade on it.
Oh.
And now we've got, so we've got sustain now, and then we can add release to it as well. So when I let go, sounds like a lo-fi pad.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we can get
Oh
really
man,
creative.
this makes it so, dude. You shouldn't hear this. Yeah, amazing.
And then on top of that, we can just chuck tons of effects
That
on
is
it. So
cool.
now I can go and put maybe,
I like
let's have
that,
a look,
Atomic.
my most used effects. I'll go and put a bit of echo on it. Maybe chuck that down, maybe put the feedback up, and then put a bit of reverb on there. And now we've got something that sounds like this.
Oh. Wait a minute. Atomic, we might be able to make a nice sample pack. Wait a minute. Ooh.
Oh yeah, we can make sample packs with our
Right?
own voices. That'd be so
Oh
cool.
my gosh, we could so do that. Oh, there he goes. There he goes.
So if you ever get stuck for ideas and you want a pad, you think, oh, all the pads that I'm looking through are not good enough, or I can't really think of ways to make one, just get your microphone out and just hum into it and have a play with that.
Yeah, that's nice and like,
So yeah, you can get really interesting with it, really interesting.
I like it.
Yeah, that's working really well. Then you can just delete all of that, paste that.
Yep. And other
Good.
things, you don't necessarily have to make it into a paddy or a real nice kind of spacey kind of vibe. We can actually make a pluck. So if I was to bring down a release a bit, drop the sustain right down, bring the decay right down, and leave the attack maybe at 1 millisecond. Now we've got something like this. Or maybe bring that decay up a bit. If I was to go to the next stage and maybe put a sequencer on it. So if I go into my sequencer that I made, grab that atomic sounds sequencer, and then put a
Ooh.
MIDI. And just quantize it to a MIDI. So let's put it at, say, E minor, for instance. And we'll put this up to 16 steps. And drop it to a quarter. And now we should play.
Oh man, this is a game changer.
And there we go.
Wow.
I've literally just made this little pluck sound and a nice sort of like arpeggio or
That's
sequenced
so cool.
session out of my voice.
Wow.
Yeah, so I hope that's answered your
Yeah,
question.
fascinating. Dude, yes it did. And it gave me this brilliant idea and everything's awesome now.
Right?
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. I did notice that when you add the instrument, when you add the sound to the MIDI channel and map it, when you play up and down the keys, it actually speeds up and slows down.
Yes. Yeah, that will be the same from whenever you're pitching a track. Any sample or anything like that, it will speed up and slow down. So you're trying to, if you want a sample to be in a certain octave, it's kind of good to aim for a sample that's already in that octave, and then it won't sound wrong, or not necessarily wrong, but it won't sound sped up or slowed down. It won't affect it so much. It's only if you go and get a bass sound and you want to play like a high lead with it, then it's going to sound a bit funky. But
Yeah, I did note, but you can actually make cool sounds with that. So if you took
oh yeah,
a
definitely.
sample and you pitched it to the keyboard, which I did, and then played the note, and then sliced a section of it out, and then put that on the MIDI controller, and then played a section of it, and then looped that, and then played the other back on top of it, it started creating like this really cool, um, quite unique sound.
That's cool. Awesome stuff. Yeah, you can get really super creative with it. Super creative. So I like doing this kind of thing and then chucking like a guitar amp on top of it and make it all distorted and then put some pitch shifting onto it and then it starts getting really sort of like mangled and everything, but it sounds really cool. I love just messing around with stuff like that. I love sound design. I
Yeah, we're
love sound design so much. I think it's just so cool. Is you're making something out of nothing, and it is awesome.
it's quite fascinating, really. Like the amount of um, someone was talking recently about having unique music and how it's difficult now because everything's sort of been done, in air quotes.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that's right.
But has it already been
but
done?
well, that's the thing, like that's I mean, the G note has been played a lot on guitar, but I'm still able to hear it, like and not be like, there it is again. So there's, even like remember that clip we played the other day and a solitary sister, had that,
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah,
like
no track I
it's
made. Yeah.
this is gonna happen, and especially like any other art form when you're making something, there's gonna be influence from the things that you enjoyed when like when you were young or still enjoy or whatever. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah, 100%. You'll be able to hear those influences coming through in your own music,
Mm-hmm.
but then you still got to take that and make it your own as well. Which I do agree with you. It is getting more difficult because as the years go by, more and more people are producing music, and yeah, it's. I think there is still space out there for everyone to be unique and put their own twist on stuff.
I think so too. Well, all right, everybody. Magnet, you had something open. Did you want to share it with everybody before we kind of close out? I
uh,
think.
that's no, that's okay. That's
Cool. All right. Yeah, it's all
that's
good. We
yeah,
it
that's
was a pretty sharp lesson today. I like that. I'm kind of letting it all
yeah,
sink in.
yeah. I'm
That's
just
all good.
I was just literally messing with the concept of putting a note on the MIDI controller. I wasn't really making any music, just experimenting with what Atomic had just showed me.
Mm.
Um, which,
The
yeah,
best.
I think with time to think about it, like you just said, just sort of letting that settle in a little bit. Like I'm just thinking about ways that you could use it, I guess. And I guess, yeah, you can. I don't use my own sound, like my own voice very much. Like I don't make I have some instruments here, like a percussion set. Like I have like a kid's instrument set here, so I've got like a triangle and like a
Yeah,
woodcock and
sample it,
like
man.
a
Sample.
tambourine and all that sort of shit. Like, and I've definitely and shakers, and I've definitely sampled and used those. Um, but yeah, I've never really thought about. Well, I didn't know how, but now I could put those same sounds onto that track and mess with it again. Do you know what I mean? Like create a.
Yeah, one hundred
There's only
percent.
so many ways you can hit a tambourine as well, if we're talking about reusing sounds. I think it's interesting, they're like, oh, this, you shouldn't, there's this whole sample debate, but at the same time, it's like, well, you're using a drum, right? Like,
Yeah, drums and that. Yeah,
Right?
drums are a bit different. To be fair,
yeah, right, there's only
people that
so many
hate
ways
on
that you can.
people that use drum samples, then they just need to just go and put all their hate energy into their own music because hating on people that use drum samples is just crazy. It's just crazy speak. I can understand if you go and get a sample from just say Splice and there's a guitar riff and you play it for all your song and you don't change it, you don't do nothing with it, you just put it on your track, and then I can see why people would feel that like the negative energy from that. I can understand that, but then I can understand the other side as well. At the end of the day, if you make good music and you like it and you're enjoying making that music and other people are enjoying your music, then this whole sample debate is a load of rubbish. To be honest, it's not valid.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
It's like the sync
if it's good
button.
music at the end of the day, yeah, it's exactly the same as a sync button.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, people in a club don't care if you're using sync or not,
Right? Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, as long as the music's good. At the end of the day, the most important job for a DJ is music selection. So
Mm-hmm.
it
On the
doesn't matter if you
sample
use sync or not.
on the sample debate a few years ago, there was this quote floating around the internet. I thought using loops was cheating, so I programmed my own samples. Then I thought using samples was cheating, so I recorded real drums. Then I thought that programming it was cheating, so I learned to
Oh.
play drums for real. Then I thought using bot drums was cheating, so I learned to make my own. Then I thought using pre made skins was cheating, so I killed a goat and skinned it. I then thought that that was cheating too, so I grew my own goat from a baby goat. And I
Uh-huh.
also think that's cheating, but I'm not sure where to go from here. I haven't made any music lately. What goat
Yeah.
farming and all.
That is, where does it stop? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Where does it stop?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that
like I
Gorillas
say,
thing, they wholesale just used the sample and they're unapologetic about it, and that shit went to number one. Like they just wholesale ripped a sample off a keyboard and are shameless. They don't have any. They don't give a fuck. Like,
it's the
and
same with
I respect the shit out of that. So this is like,
it's
yeah.
like
I mean, yeah.
there's so many top 40 songs that have been using samples. Look at Rihanna's Umbrella. They took a drum sample straight out of Logic's sample pack, which comes free with Logic, and they use that. And that drum sample you hear on Umbrella, Rihanna's Umbrella, is
Mm-hmm.
that drum sample straight from Logic. And look where that is. So
Yeah. I feel
it's
like that's yeah. Then I think someone in the castle said it. Like if you've all got access to this, right? If this sample's from a sample library and you've all got access to it, and someone just uses it wholesale, and you're like, hey, screw you, man, you didn't do anything to that. Well, it's like, yeah, but I sold 10 million copies, so like
it's a
Mm-hmm.
what like you do you with the same sample, if you want to put
Mm-hmm.
it out or whatever, like go ahead, but like this was what I created with it. Like I don't see how it's how like I don't understand the argument anymore. Is it's because I'm like, we live in a digital age, man, and this stuff is here. Like, do you want me to go learn how to play guitar so I can play the same chord progression that I just heard in a sample? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly,
um,
exactly.
yeah.
The
I
only
don't really.
problem I
I
can
like
see
the
with
idea,
samples,
honestly, from time to time of hearing. I like hearing samples sometimes where I hear that sample. I'm like, oh, yeah, I heard that sample in a pendulum track.
yeah,
That wop, 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 or whatever. And I'm like, that's cool because I'm hearing it in a very different way, but I'm hearing that same sound
the
that made
same
that
sound, yeah,
pendulum track so iconic. And that, again, I'll just make a little point. That was Pendulum using a sample. Um,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The only thing I can see about samples is when we go further down the road, maybe 5 years' time, 10 years' time, or even a few years' time, that so many people are going to be using the same sample, especially with services like Splice and Loop Cloud, that someone's going to make a hit and it's going to sell millions of copies, and anyone else that's using that sample, their music's going to be taken down because of the copyright. That's the only problem I can see
Do you
about
think
using
that'll happen?
samples.
Because it's
I
they
think it
because
will. I think it will.
interesting.
That's the big reason behind like me personally wanting to make sure that I modify the sample in some sort of way,
Yeah.
unless I'm doing
Yeah.
like a, of course, like sanctioned, or not sanctioned, but um a remix for somebody where they ask me, like, I got permission from the artist. Other than that, like, I want to use a sample in a way that's going to warp the pitch, the tempo, something, so that those detection services really can't pick up on the waveform.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
But but
And
but
yeah,
what's
I
the
was,
argument though?
Or that it'll become copyrighted.
yeah, not necessarily. There's no one's gonna take you to court for it, but it's sort of like you want to put your tracks up onto SoundCloud, or you want to put your tracks up on Spotify, or you want to put your tracks up on YouTube. but the algorithms and the AI now will detect that you're using a sample that's in a huge song that sold millions of copies, and they will take it down, or you get copyright strike from it,
Well, guess
Yeah.
what?
and that is
That's when we got to
possible.
step up to the plate and say we need better AI to step up to the times now. Your old AI is confusing the new age. Technology has changed since the time y'all created that scanning system. Now we have systems where we're all going from the same bank. You need to separate the dollars that's being spread around. Okay? So what you need to do is create more advanced scanning systems that are taking the songs as a whole and not just one little piece anymore. That doesn't work anymore. That's what that's telling me. If this is what we're going to have going forward, the old technology isn't useful anymore and it can't keep up, and we need to get rid of that because it's just giving us problems for the future. And now it's time for us to create a new tech castle. Creators, coders, here you go. Here you go. This is
There
what
you
we
go.
need going forward. Talk to me. I'll tell you exactly how I could see it going forward. But that is what it would need to be. Because think about it. It's just behind. Somebody needs to make a more up to date scanning system that picks it up. That, oh, okay, this sample was used in ba 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 ba. Okay, it's just a sample. That's not the entirety of the piece. Now it's got to
Yeah.
go deeper. It can't just be a one-stop shop. Nope, nope, nope. Now your system has to scan another system, which scans the actual ID of the sample. Like now they're gonna need to step up their actual. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
That's not on us.
100%.
Why should we be worried about how we're creating? That's not our problem. We should be free to create. Free.
The
Technology
one
should not
thing,
stop us, or copyrights, or you know what I mean.
the one thing I would hope that is if we're talking about, 10 years from now or whatever, 5 years from now, and there's a lot more people making music and using samples. The one thing that I would hope is that the sample market, you know, also, like more samples keep getting made, people keep producing new stuff and putting out packs. So like, I would hope that people are getting paid, the people who are making this thing. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely.
that's
I know sample packs. I don't know what it is on Splice. I was looking into Splice, so I want to start putting some samples up on Splice.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna ask you if you've ever thought about making samples.
yeah, I
I know
was
I
thinking about
have.
doing Splice, and I'm actually thinking about just doing my own sample packs as well and putting them on my
Bro, I'll
website.
take that. I'll take that pad that you were playing at the beginning of this session, right? Or any day of the week, bro. I'll sling you some cash for have that pad in my pocket. That, that
Well,
was
it depends on where
that
that
was
comes
ambient as
from.
fuck. Just know that I might just use it wholesale.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. So yeah, I was looking into getting into doing the splice thing. I'm still sort of like figuring out how to do it. So, but that's something that I'm really interested in because I like I say I love sound design and I want to start releasing sound packs. But the sound packs, some people sell their sound packs for loads of money and like they're getting so much money from their sound packs, and I think that's awesome because these people that are actually making the sounds are actually getting their money. They're not sort of like going undeserved for all the work they're putting in and stuff. So I think there's always going to be people out there that's going to be pumping out these new sounds and new samples and stuff. And I don't think there's ever going to be a day where there's never going to be new samples uploaded. And I think that is an awesome thing. But that was what I'm worried about is this whole AI thing and them picking up
Yeah,
the
that's a
sounds.
legitimate
So
concern.
and I know a couple of artists, and they're not electronic artists. They actually in the band, and they actually check if they're making riffs on their guitar. They check it on they get Shazam up on their phone and just play the riff just to check that no one else has used it. And it's got to a point where we have to do that now, and it's I don't know. It's just this whole AI thing. It's AI is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love it, and it's really interesting. But I can see it being to the detriment of us creative people, and I just, yeah, it does worry me a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make it more accessible to people who's maybe not as dedicated to craft as maybe we are. But like, I don't know, like how many people make music in their bedroom, and then of them, like how many release it, and then of them, how many market it. And so like when I start looking at it like that, I'm not too worried because it's like um I don't I don't feel like yeah like you said, I don't feel like there's ever going to be a time where there's not music, sort of new music being made, and I feel like it's all cyclical. Like things like are in they're popular for a minute and then they're not and then they are again. Like
Yeah, 100%.
I noticed actually today, I was looking at some socials and it was like yeah, tell us what genre you make in the comments below, and I was reading all the comments and I'm like, oh wow, like most of these people making the same genre. Like that's interesting. It was mostly melodic techno.
Yeah, melodic techno is like skyrocketed with people now. Loads of people. It's even come into the mainstream music, and you hear it on just an ordinary radio station over in the UK, and it's really grown in popularity over the last year or so.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But all we got to worry about is just keep on creating, keep on making awesome music, and we'll be okay. We'll be all good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
100%.
sweating it. I'm trying not to. If I feel like if I'm thinking about whether, what I should be doing with a certain sound or sample or whatever, I'm not thinking about what I want to be doing with the overall track. And I feel like,
No, that's it.
man, I got so many transients. I looked through my library and I realized, I was like, man, I've got so many files in here, so many samples and stuff that I've, like downloaded or whatever, and never used. But or like I had it in there, and then as the song evolved, I realized I didn't like it, and I took it out.
Mm.
And I was like,
But
all these
then
samples.
another project might come up, and you think, oh, I've got this one that actually might go with this. So
Well, that's what happened. Yeah, I opened a new project, and I was like, let me try using some of these samples that I've never used or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah,
If
let me
they
get
want
this
to try
going.
samples, what were the artists doing? Remember when they were just pulling beats from YouTube and putting them out?
Yeah,
What was
yeah,
the discussion then?
yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, exactly. Like the whole vinyl thing. People going back and taking vinyl cuts.
Hmm. Well, all right. That was
yeah,
cool.
good discussions.
Yeah, this was really
Yeah,
nice.
we went on a little tangent there at the end. Um,
But it was a good tangent.
Yeah,
it
it was a
was.
nice discussion. And if anybody in the chat, if they want to join us, we'll be back next Monday. That's right. Woof. We were here listening to a wonderful instructional and a deep, deep, deep guide through Ableton. All right, we talked about how to change our frequencies, how to create melodies, and create actual sounds using our voice. So we went over some cool things today with atomic sounds, questions led by Ma9net.
Hey,
Yeah, and if you have any questions
Awesome
for
stuff.
us, feel free to reach out to us on socials. Put them in the comments when you guys see these posts in the socials. And yeah, make sure you follow us. We'll follow you back. That's right. We share the love. And don't forget to visit the website and keep up with all the exciting things we have going on in the castle. Make sure you follow Atomic Sounds and Ma9net because both are constantly
hey.
creating and both are constantly creating music. Let's go. You don't want to miss those vibes. That's right. These sessions, we just giving you an inside look. An inside look. but you want to get the whole pie. You want to see what the pie is looking like, you know? So make sure you follow them on socials. And I'm Nina Chris, your friendly moderator, also founder of the Castle. And we will be back next Monday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, increase the peace.